The Fell Court of Troia is the newest dungeon introduced in Endwalker 6.2. In this quick and easy guide, you'll learn all you need to know in order to get through it and enjoy the rest of the story. This guide contains no story spoilers apart from the bosses' names and dungeon footage, and you can take advantage of the notes in the corner for a quick preview of the strategy and abilities. My name is Ivona from momsden.com, and if this is your first time around here, subbing is a good idea. I make simple FF14 guides that'll answer some of your questions in no time and give you quick in-game wins. I also live stream on YouTube and Twitch quite a bit, so if you're a fan of awesome communities, in-game and other highlights, I'll see you around. The first bosses of the dungeon are the Evil Dreamers. This is technically an ad boss with a series of waves of minions called Evil Dreamers. The fight begins with a pack of Evil Dreamers that attack the tank. When they're almost defeated, a new wave of Evil Dreamers will appear in a quarter circle just before they cast Dark Vision, which is a line AoE that will overlap with other Evil Dreamers also casting it. All you need to do is move out of the AoE to avoid taking damage as per usual. After you defeat this wave, a second wave will appear. These will spawn around the arena in a circular pattern this time, before casting Dark Vision just like the previous group. At the same time, everyone gets targeted with Void Gravity, which hits percentage-based damage. If you get hit by 2 of these attacks, you're most likely dead, so you be careful and spread out from other party members. When the second wave of Evil Dreamers are almost beat, a third wave will spawn in a line at the north of the room and fire off Dark Vision once more. At the same time, more Evil Dreamers will spawn around the room and begin casting Unite Mare, which is a circular AoE. What you need to do in order to not take a ton of damage is destroy one of the Evil Dreamers to create a safe spot for your party to stand on. After this wave of enemies is defeated, a few more Evil Dreamers will be spawned, before shortly combining into a singular Evil Dreamer in the center of the room. The big Evil Dreamer will begin to cast Endless Nightmare, which you have to stop, as it will deal lethal damage if it goes through, so be careful. At the same time, more Evil Dreamers will spawn around the room and begin to cast Unite Mare. Then you've got to pay attention, as a random Evil Dreamer will be targeted with tethers, as other Evil Dreamers move to its position. What happens is the Evil Dreamers Unite Mare cast increasing in size, covering more and more of the room. You should quickly identify the Evil Dreamer that is tethered to the others, and move to the opposite side of the room to avoid taking damage. While avoiding the Unite Mare casts, keep hitting the large Evil Dreamer, and please do defeat it before the Endless Nightmare cast goes through. If you do all this, you've beat the first boss. The second boss of the dungeon is Beatrice. She's got a few abilities to deal with, and the first one is the Eye of Troia. Beatrice will deal damage to everyone in the party before preparing a direction-based gaze attack. The gaze attack's eyes will close in on their targeted area before they resolve, so you need to turn away from the area the eyes will end up to avoid taking damage and being inflicted with doom. If you have doom and you're not getting cleansed, make sure to notify your healer or your bard about the incoming catastrophe. As the Eye of Troia happens again, it will have more than one gaze attack occur at the same time. Also, Beatrice will add Tauric Void to the mix, which is a large ring-shaped AoE that covers the outer edges. The way to not take damage and be affected by gaze is to stay near the center of the room. There's also Beatific Scorn, when Beatrice marks areas of the room with glowing lines, just before they explode in a circular AoE. The way to avoid this is by moving away from the lines to avoid taking damage. During continuous casts of Beatific Scorn, Beatrice will also cast Anti-Pressure, and that means she'll place a stack marker on a random player, so you need to help your friend not get wrecked by avoiding Beatific Scorn. Hush is your ordinary tank buster, so just use defensive cooldowns if you are one, and you'll be okay. Void Shaker will target a random player with a large coin AoE, dealing damage in their direction, so make sure to avoid that. Void Nail is an AoE circle that everyone will be targeted with, so just spread out in order to not overlap damage and you're good to go. The final boss of the dungeon is Scarmiglione. When it comes to the environment, notice that the arena's edge is covered in poison that inflicts toxicosis, which is damage over time. At the start of the encounter, walls will protect you from running into the poison goo, but the walls will at one point disappear, so pay attention to that. Cursed Echo will deal damage to all party members and apply bleed, which is damage over time and cannot be cleansed, so the healer should AoE heal instead until the bleed expires. Rotten Rampage is a series of AoEs that will appear around the arena before exploding and dealing damage. At the same time, everyone will be targeted with a Rotten Rampage AoE that will follow you wherever you go, so spread out from the others in order to cause less trouble for your group. This attack is also the one that destroys the walls around the room, so be careful. Getting hit by Rotten Rampage will also inflict a stack of Brain Rot debuff, and getting 3 stacks of it will turn you into kind of a zombie, rendering you useless when it comes to attacking. With Blighted Bedevilment, Scarmiglione will knock back everyone from the center of the arena and will deal damage. Make sure there's a wall behind you when you're knocked back so that you're not thrown into the poison goo. Blighted Blade Work, however, will target an area with a large circular AoE, and there will be a thin line pointed towards the area he wishes to attack, so pay attention and move to the opposite side of it. Blighted Sweep deals damage in a large AoE to his front across the room. If you want to avoid getting hit, move towards the boss and hide behind him immediately after Blighted Blade Work. With Fire Damp, Scarmiglione will deal a ton of damage in the area around the tank. If you happen to be one, use defensive cooldowns to mitigate and move away from the others as they can get hit by it too. When Creeping Decay happens, Scarmiglione will become untargetable and begin charging power, while summoning several Necro Serfs around the area. Group up and quickly kill them in order to stop the boss from charging power. The higher Scarmiglione's power at the end of this phase, the higher the damage of the resulting AoE will be, so if you're feeling brave, go easy on the Necro Serfs and see what happens. But really though, don't do that, just kill them ASAP. So while the boss is charging, Scarmiglione will also cast Void Vortex, placing a stack marker on a random player, so group up to share the damage. He'll also cast Void Gravity, which is the same as the version used earlier in the dungeon, so just spread out to avoid the overlapping AoE. If you do all that, you've beat the dungeon, as there's nothing more to worry about. Make sure to sub to the channel for more easy guides like this if you haven't done that yet, and leave some tips of your own if you have them in the comments. Massive thanks to everyone supporting the channel, and especially our alphas like Kathy Spear on YouTube memberships, as well as Andyman, Space Cadet Rick, and Elijah Baker over on Patreon. If you'd like to join them and keep the content going, all the links are in the description of this video. Enjoy the dungeon, have fun, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.